Welcome everyone. Let's jump right in. We're exploring that concept. The fastest way to private property in Singapore isn't what you think.
Oh, absolutely. I've seen so many debates around this. What really is the quickest route to upgrade?
Yeah, so here's the kicker. Everyone wants that private property, but the paths are all over the place. Some say, just buy resale. Others go, stretch and jump directly.
Yeah.
But the truth is, most people are missing the point about how to really build equity.
Right. It's not just about the destination, but the journey, right?
Exactly. The article lays it out plainly. Your first home, if your goal is private property, isn't your forever nest. It's a financial tool, your stepping stone.
So, instead of focusing on a perfect view or a fancy layout, it's all about maximizing the equity growth as fast as possible?
Precisely. It's like you buy at a subsidized rate, then you let that advantage, like compound over time to build your launchpad. The article calls this the golden goose strategy.
The golden goose strategy. That's a clever comparison. Essentially, you're locking in profit before the market even really takes off, right?
Yes, and the most efficient way, if you're eligible, is to buy a subsidized block. They talk about BTO or SBF, which lets you enter below market value. That discount is your very first profit, immediately on day one.
Wow, that seems like a no-brainer if you're aiming for rapid equity growth. But, how do they compare it with the resale option?
So here's the thing. Resale can be tempting because you move in quickly, but financially it's a trap. For instance, if you pay market price or even above, you're hit with what's called cash overvaluation, COV.
Right.
Essentially, you have to pay that extra cash in full, which immediately drains resources.
That must really set you back from building your wealth. So, in essence, you're starting the race behind the starting line.
Exactly. And then there's the case of executive condos, or ECs. A lot of folks think going straight for an EC is smart, but the article points out that there's a tricky math behind it.
Yeah, it mentioned things like income ceilings and maximum mortgage rules, right?
Yeah.
It becomes almost impractical.
Right, because with an EC, you're boxed in by income limits and loan restrictions. A typical case, if your monthly income has an upper ceiling of, say, $16,000, the mortgage cap means you only pull a fraction, around $4,800, which doesn't comfortably match the price tags.
So it's like, you end up with a gap you have to cover with cash, and most young buyers just don't have that extra money lying around.
Yes, exactly. And that gap can push you into overstretching your savings or even stalling the whole process. The article is pretty clear. You don't skip steps. Your subsidized home is there to fund your next upgrade.
It's like you're using one financial phase to leverage the next step. But couldn't some argue that, hey, if you wait for resale, you get immediate occupancy?
True, immediate occupancy sounds appealing. But
Yeah,
think about
I get
it.
that.
By paying full market price, you miss out on that initial equity boost. The strategy is to think long term.
Right. So even though resale might seem faster, it actually delays your wealth building potential over time.
Exactly. And another key point is timing. The article emphasizes that waiting is dangerous. With prices rising due to factors like government land sales, increased construction costs, and land betterment charges, the cost floor is shifting upward.
So basically, if you delay, you're almost guaranteed to pay, more later on?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, by 2027, it predicts around $3,000 per square foot becoming normal, which means smaller units and tighter layouts. It's a race against time.
That's really concerning. It seems that every passing moment pushes your entry point further out of reach, financially.
Precisely. And that's why the article talks about the hidden advantage of starting early. Even if the unit is modest, your forced savings in CPF and the equity you build automatically, compounding over time, can make you a serious player by the time you're 30.
Exactly. Forced savings? You mean like the system that automatically deducts from your CPF for mortgage payments?
Yes, exactly. It's kind of brilliant. You can't easily withdraw or spend that money, so it quietly builds up. It's like an auto-accumulating savings account, reinforcing your financial position as you age.
And that accumulated equity becomes your launchpad for upgrading into private property later.
Right. The whole idea is that your first purchase isn't about living your dream today. It's about creating the capital that gives you freedom tomorrow.
Yep. Now, there's also that liquidity window opportunity mentioned for 2026, isn't there?
Exactly. That's a crucial part. The article states that by 2026, two major shifts, dropping interest rates and an increase in the CPF ceiling, will work in tandem to increase your loan power. That means buyers will have greater affordability, and it's a chance to leverage your equity.
Which then sets the stage for strategically selling your BTO or SBF flat at the right time to upgrade.
Exactly. So the plan is buy at a subsidized price, wait through the minimum occupation period, and then exit during that liquidity window. It's a very disciplined process, but the payoff is huge.
That makes sense. Sure, it sounds a bit counterintuitive at first, delaying that upgrade to private property, but in the long run, it's a lot more effective.
Absolutely. Now, there's one more angle that the article stresses, the long-term demographic trend. Singapore is heading toward a super-aged society by 2030, which means fewer young buyers and shifts in property demand.
Right. So if you hold on for too long, it might become tougher to sell later because the market dynamics change drastically.
Exactly. It's not just about today. The strategy is about future liquidity and ensuring that your asset retains its value when the demographic tide shifts.
I see. That forward-thinking angle is really fascinating, though I have a little pushback here. Don't you think that sometimes the emotional attachment to a first home can, cloud these strategic decisions?
That's a valid challenge. It's easy to fall into the trap of treating your first home as a forever home.
Yeah.
But think of it as marketing your property as a financial vehicle rather than a lifestyle statement. The goal is to build wealth that later gives you options.
I get that, but what about those who might prefer immediate comfort over long-term gains? Is that strategy still worth it?
Well, it depends on your priorities. But if upgrading to private property is your ultimate goal, then sacrificing the immediate dream means you're ensuring financial growth. In the end, it's a calculated trade-off that minimizes lost equity and delays.
Exactly. And that, as we've seen, is a difference of hundreds of thousands over the years.
Right, and that equity gap, the difference between what you paid and what the market value climbs to, is your very launchpad. Think of it like reinvesting the dividends from a stock portfolio. It may seem slow at first, but eventually it accelerates your growth.
Wow, the systematic approach in the article is really eye-opening. It's a lot more than just choosing a property. It's about meticulously planning your financial journey from subsidized housing to private property using strategic exit points.
That's exactly it. In summary, the fastest path isn't about jumping at the first flashy resale or chasing an executive condo that strains your finances. It's about using subsidized BTO or SBF flats as a starting platform to build your wealth. Maintain that disciplined savings approach, and then capitalize on the liquidity window, essentially turning capital into options, options into speed, and speed into wealth.
Right.
And with market forces and demographic changes on your side, if you plan carefully, it really moves the needle.
Absolutely. And for anyone interested in a clear, step-by-step strategy based on their personal numbers, it's indeed a call to action. Map out your entry point, plan your upgrade timeline, and strategize for lasting wealth.
Exactly. The article's message is clear. Think strategically and plan ahead. That's a wrap on this topic. Thanks for diving deep with me into the intricacies of Singapore property strategy.
Thanks for the discussion. Really insightful and, thought-provoking as always.